At 0951 hours, the MH-65E Dolphin broke free from the deck of the Cutter Monroe, its bright orange fuselage slicing upward through sheets of Pacific spray. Inside the cabin, the aviation gunner locked in the M240 machine gun. The precision marksman checked his State Route 25 rifle, adjusting the scope for the rhythmic bounce of helicopter flight. Below them, the ocean stretched out like an endless slab of blue steel. Somewhere ahead, a tiny white wake tore across the surface, the go-fast boat, still running full throttle, still believing speed would save them. The Hercules circling high above transmitted the boat's updated position every 15 seconds. Each push of data tightened the noose. The helicopter pilot watched the coordinates scroll across his HUD. Range, 9.8 miles. Closing. The go-fast crew finally sensed something was wrong. One of them looked up and spotted a metallic glint in the sky, the Hercules banking wide, silent but watching. He shouted to the others, pointing, but the captain only pushed the throttles harder. Fear makes people faster, but it also makes them blind. The boat slammed against the waves, the hull cracking as each impact threw sprays of white water over the men. The engines roared. The captain didn't notice the fuel gauge quietly dipping below safe levels. He didn't notice the wake pattern shifting behind him, signs of cavitation from pushing the engines beyond endurance. He didn't notice the helicopter diving from the horizon. But the marksman did. At 0958 hours, the Dolphin descended to 50 feet above the ocean, blades cutting the air in thunderous rhythm. The gunner slid the cabin door open. Wind tore into the compartment like a living creature. The smell of burning fuel from the go-fast finally reached them. The pilot made the first radio call. Unknown vessel, this is a United States Coast Guard helicopter. You are ordered to stop your engines immediately. Nothing. The go-fast kept running. The pilot repeated the message in Spanish. Still nothing. The smuggler captain looked back and finally saw the helicopter. His face went pale. He screamed at his crew, and the men scrambled, throwing bales overboard in panic, anything to lighten the load and squeeze out an extra knot or two. But 20 years of interdictions had taught the Coast Guard a simple truth. A faster boat can run. But it cannot hide from the air. At 1001 hours, the pilot gave the command. Go for warning shots. The aviation gunner leaned out, bracing himself, the M240 machine gun tracking the wake. He fired a tight controlled burst. The round struck the water inches from the bow, sending geysers of white spray into the air. The smugglers ducked instinctively, shouting, terrified. Still the boat refused to stop. The marksman prepared for disabling fire. The snarling engines of the go-fast were now pushing past safe temperature. The Mercury 300s whined like tortured metal. The marksman steadied his breathing. He waited for the exact moment when the helicopter, the boat, and the ocean swell aligned into a stable shot window. The pilot held formation at 40 feet. The helicopter rattled with turbulence. The marksman exhaled. One shot. A single crack. The State Route 25 round pierced the first engine's casing, killing it instantly. A plume of smoke erupted, the propeller jerking to a stop. The boat wobbled violently. The smugglers panicked. One reached for a fuel can. Another tried to stand. The captain screamed at them to sit down, to hold steady. He knew what was coming. The second shot took out the port engine. The third killed the starboard. Only one remained. The boat, once flying across the water, now limped at barely 12 knots. The helicopter hovered above them like a hunter studying its wounded prey. But desperation makes dangerous men. One of the smugglers grabbed something metallic, a wrench, a pipe, something heavy. He hurled it toward the helicopter, screaming curses drowned by rotor wash. Another reached into a compartment, pulling out a long machete, as if steel could challenge aviation. The marksman chambered again. The pilot made the final broadcast. Stop the boat now, or we will disable your last engine. The captain hesitated, then made his final mistake. He pushed the throttle. The fourth engine screamed to life. The marksman fired. The engine died. The ocean went quiet. With all four engines disabled, the Go-Fast drifted, powerless, its momentum fading until it surrendered completely to the Pacific swell. The helicopter circled once, ensuring compliance. The gunner signaled thumbs up. At 1008 hours, the Cutter Monroe came into view, 418 feet of steel and authority, its bow cutting through the water as it closed in on the immobilized vessel. The smugglers sat slumped, exhausted, soaked, defeated. $40 million worth of narcotics bobbed on the waves around them, each bale a sinking monument to bad decisions. The boarding team launched in their RHIB, speeding toward the vessel. Weapons ready, voices firm but controlled, they moved with precision, no chaos, no hesitation. Years of training had boiled the process down to a choreography of speed and safety. Hands where we can see them. Do not move. Keep your eyes forward. Within minutes, the smugglers were on their knees, wrists secured, the boat inspected, evidence photographed, GPS devices seized. One of the deckhands whispered to another, shaking his head. They always think they can outrun us, he said. They never do. As the boarding team transported the detainees back to the cutter, the sun broke through the clouds, casting golden light across the waves. The Hercules overhead dipped its wings in salute before banking away, already searching for its next target. But the mission wasn't over. Not even close. Far below the surface, on the cutter's lower decks, intelligence officers were already combing through the smugglers' phones, coordinates, voice notes, and navigation logs. Each breadcrumb meant something. A supply rendezvous missed. A refuel point exposed. A mother ship identified. A cartel route compromised. This wasn't just a bust. This was a fracture in an empire. And somewhere beyond the horizon, another boat was already moving, another target, another chase, another story unfolding across 6 million square miles of lawless ocean. The Coast Guard crew prepared again. The helicopter refueled. The Hercules transmitted new coordinates. The CIC updated the threat board. The ocean was quiet. But quiet never means safe. Not out here.